Hey, it's Robert Griffin here at my very first record sale. It's in Collinsville, Illinois. It's the first time I've actually tried selling records. I've been on the other side of the counter for decades, but this is the first time I'm on this side of things. So we'll see how this goes. I got my table set up, got a bunch of people here. We are rip-roaring and ready to go out. Definitely have a full report of what you can expect if you're going to sell records at a record sale. So there's my boxes of records, slightly unorganized. I'll explain that later. But I do have the jazz box, as promised, and also a box of records where the previous owner should be ashamed. Just trashed records. Maybe you just want the cover. They're like $1 a piece for basically the cover. And 8 tracks as well. Hey, they are all fully analog, though. So 8 tracks. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how everything goes at this record sale. Yeah, so I did my very first record show, and that officially qualifies me to start giving out advice and tips on what to do and what not to do at a record show. It's official now. I'm entitled with that. But yeah, so I just want to pass along some things I noticed really after doing my first one. First thing, have your records you're selling organized, which that is a mistake that I made. I originally planned to get there early and do some organizing, but there was a snafu with the building, and they weren't able to get the building open until right when the sale started. I'm actually 2 minutes after the sale was supposed to start. So you've got people rushing in, trying to set their records up, and then you've got the people trying to buy records all at the same time, and it was a big thing. And salute, hats off to Travis, the organizer of the record show, because that guy has got some real patience. I'll tell you that, some super patience to have to deal with people that, you know, you're renting their building from them and they don't even bother to unlock it for you. So yeah, that couldn't have been easy. But yeah, so I originally planned to get there an hour early and set things up. Don't count on things like that. Have your records organized before you go. Big lesson that I learned. I've sold records before at like family yard sales and things like that, where you just bring a few boxes of records, you set them up, people are looking through them and whatever. That's usually how I like looking through records. You just never know what you're going to find. But most people that go to record shows, they're not going to look at every record at every booth. They're going to go booth to booth. And I've seen plenty of people walk up, look at 2 records, and walk on, thinking that they know what's in my whole inventory based on the first 2 records in the crate. And mine were so just all over the place. I had Carole King next to Black Flag, next to the Ventures Christmas album. So, I mean, they were just all over the place. I did have jazz separated, as you probably saw in the beginning of the video. I had a $1 box under the table, just $1 records, a couple other things, but mostly, 4 just big tubs of just all kinds of records, and I'm not going to do that again. As a matter of fact, I've already organized them for the next show, and they're separated by price point. Not only, of course, do I have the $1 bin box, but I also have, the $3 to $5 box. Then I have the ones that are a little more than that. I still have the jazz separate. I now have the country separate. People also will walk up and ask if you have any so-and-so, and you pretty much should know where it is. And if you have 4 tubs of records and they're all just disorganized, you're probably not going to be able to find them for them, and they're just going to walk away and find somebody who knows what they're doing. So make sure that you have your records organized. Also, be prepared for the hagglers. I was warned of this earlier. I had gone to record shows for 3 decades, and I never price haggled. I tried it one time, like a long, long time ago, and the guy looked at me like, really? And so I never did it again, but apparently everybody does this. And so be prepared to have people say, what can you do if I get these 3 records? Can you give me a deal? Or is this the best you can do on this record or whatever? Just be prepared to that. When you're pricing the records at home, be prepared for that. And so just know that, whatever. And also, you can't really go by Discogs prices a lot because you're not selling to the whole world here. You're selling to the people that are coming to this record show. I went with 4 copies of Billy Joel's Greatest Hits, which the median price on Discogs for that is $40. And I had one that wasn't in very good condition, so I made that one like $10, and the rest I put at $35. None of the $35 ones sold at all. And speaking of condition, be prepared for the people who will walk up to your table and inspect your record, even if it's a $3 record. They will hold that thing up and jeweler's glass, and it's like, it's a $3 record. What do you want? And so be prepared for that. All in all, though, people were great. I didn't have any problems. I will say one thing. Janis Joplin's greatest hits was never on a 2i. I was right. I looked it up. It's 1973. That was never on a 2i. Other than that, there were never really any issues or problems. Everybody was great. I had my cute little signs, so I think people thought I was, kind of a smart ass, and so they didn't want to be a smart ass to me because I know I sassed them right back. So have some smart ass signs if you want. Make it the smart ass signs about your product, though, not about the people. But yeah, a great time. Made some decent money to, go out and buy some more records with. But, so yeah, just know that, you're not going to sell everything. Probably a good idea to bring a dolly. Another thing I'll probably do next time, so I won't have to make about 9 trips to my car. I don't have a truck or an SUV or a van. I have a car. And so, yeah, I'm carrying these things back, back to the car, 8 or 9 trips. A couple of big-ass tubs. Don't bring big-ass tubs unless you've got a dolly or some sort of carrying thing. Walking through a thing, oh, shit, oh, whoa, oh, damn. That was what I had to do like 3 times, both ways. Don't think you're going to sell all your records. That's probably not going to happen. Even if you make deals. I put mine on sale like halfway through the show. I started putting up signs that said, buy one, get one half price. And that really made a lot of people come back to my table and start, word got around. So I sold a lot more because I noticed what happened was a lot of people early on, like when the sales started, like I said, there was this big rush. We were all trying to get set up and the customers were coming at the same time. And so there was this rush for about an hour and 15 minutes where I was like, everybody was buying records. It was great. It was like, wow, this is going to be awesome. And then it just went, and that was it. The air was let out of the room for a good, 4.5 hours. It was just kind of a trickle thing. And, I got the big boost again, like I said, when I had that sale and put up those signs. But man, it's a blast in the beginning, and then it just kind of dies way down. And I thought there might be another big burst at the end where, if you watch my previous video where I talk about going to record shows as a buyer, I said, you want to go in the beginning when the sale starts, and then you want to go at the end when the show is almost over. There wasn't a lot of things happening at the end. I thought a lot of people would come in at the end trying to make deals. Like, you don't want to carry all these records back home. I'll buy these, 3 for this or what. And that really didn't happen. And as a matter of fact, the show was supposed to go on until 2:30. And I noticed that a lot of the sellers started packing up at like 1 o'clock, 1:15. They were starting to put records in boxes and lids on boxes and taking out to the car and stuff. And it was like, what? But I didn't. I kept all mine out on the table until about 2:15, and people still came up and were buying stuff because there wasn't as much competition. Because a lot of half the show people had started, boxing up and taking out. So, I mean, I had people buying records right up to the end. So I wasn't gonna, I had been there, I had set up, and I wasn't gonna leave an hour and a half early. That's for sure. So be prepared for that. You might want to consider not doing that. Again, I've done it one show now, so I'm telling everybody what to do. Also, don't be surprised when things don't sell. I can't believe nobody bought this Miles Davis Kind of Blue with this tiny amount of ring wear on there. Just a smidgen of ring. We can barely even notice that. Nobody bought that. Can you believe it? Nobody bought, I had 3 of these. I still have the one left. And the one I have left is the one I thought everybody would want, which is the first pressing. This is the first mono pressing with timeout in blue there. It's the only one of the timeouts that didn't sell. And also be prepared if you have a jazz box like I did. People will come up and want to talk about jazz music. And I'm just like, well, there's a reason I'm selling these. But I said, yeah, that's a great, yes, sir. That Charles Mingus, man, that's a mind blower. Worth every penny of that. I did sell the Beach Boys Pet Sounds. I don't think I ever talked about my eBay fiasco with that. And the reason I don't sell online anymore is because I had and I never use this word, mint copy of the Beach Boys Pet Sounds original mono Scranton pressing. Now, if you've seen my channel before, you know I'm not a huge fan of this album. So I had no problem getting rid of this. Again, I never used the word mint. This thing was mint. It looks like it was purchased and never played. All the way back in 1966. I sold this thing on eBay and listed it as near mint, because you never want to say mint. So I listed it as near mint, described it, took pictures of it and everything. It got up to $180. And I shipped it off, and the person sent me a message that says, this thing has a split seam. There's a big scuff that goes all the way across the record. And I'm like, well, no. And they sent a picture and they sent it back and they wanted their $180 back. So, I mean, I don't know what you're supposed to do. So I gave them a refund and got my record back, now with a split seam, which it didn't have before, and a scuff, which it didn't have before. But yeah, got rid of that in person. I wish, I would have never put that on eBay. But yeah, record shows blow mail Discog selling and eBay selling away. Record shows are the way to go, because you're right there in person. There's none of this shipping stuff. There's none of this shipping prices, for one thing. And it's like all sales are final. You can see the record right there. Done. Have a nice day. Thank you so much. So record shows, that's how I'm going to do it all. And how do you get rid of these dollar albums? I bought collections and boxes, and so I've got so many of these, like, I don't know, Natalie Cole albums and Helen Reddy albums and Kenny Rogers albums that, like, no one wants, not even for like $1 or 50 cents. I don't want to just throw them away. And my original plan was to use things like that for mailers. I got all kinds of stuff that definitely nobody wants, like the Brothers 4 and 101 strings that I don't even take those to record shows, obviously. I was going to use those for mailers to protect the record I'm sending, but I'm not going to be doing a lot of mail stuff, so I don't really know what to do with those. And you want to bring change too. Can't forget about that. I was told about this before, so I was all ready for that. I had a whole bag of change, dollars, fives, tens, even some 20s in there, and I did get a couple of $100 bills and whatever. So yeah, bring change. Also, if you have PayPal, you want to make that available. I didn't have to use that, but I'd seen when I had gone to record shows before as a buyer, I'd seen people that had PayPal up and people paying with PayPal. I even paid with PayPal one time. So, if you have that on your phone, if you have that app and you use it, make sure that you have a sign that lets people know that you take PayPal or Cash App or whatever. So that's, but bring some change. Make sure you have that with you. But, so that's my advice. Great time. I will probably be trying to do the St. Louis record show, which is a lot larger. Coming up in January. I've been trying to contact the people to see if there's any open tables. Haven't got a response yet. So if anybody knows anybody that does those shows, what's up. But that's my experience with my very first record show. Thanks to everybody who came out and purchased records for me. I totally appreciate that. Hope to see you again at the next one. Thanks again to Travis for putting this whole thing on, making it in Collinsville, where it's, right next to where I live. And of course, right next to the world's largest ketchup bottle. And thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully gave you some insight on what it's like to be a seller at the record shows. So thanks again for watching. I'm Robert Fithen. Talk to you again next time.